Okay, it's been. Oh shit. We have to go see. Oh, I still got 5 more hours. I was like, damn, I forgot we have to go see what's his face. We got 5 hours to kill. Alright. How do I get out of here again? So yeah, it's been a week since I've played, so I kinda remember where I am. At the same time, my mind has been focused on Pokemon. Pokemon for the last 3 days. I finished the game. It was actually I think it's my favorite Pokemon game. Story wise. Okay. Let's put away the light. I gotta remember to take off my shirt every time I try to do like a visualization. I don't want to drink. Apparently the dude's not like selling clothes, so you know what? Since we have some time to kill, let's look at my case file. Where is my case file? Tools. There you go. Ledger of hatred and failure. Okay.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip. Then it takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want?
I mean, I got like 10 hours. I mean, 10. I got 5 hours, so I can do 10 cases. All right, let's do the next world mural.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the next world mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
So wait, do I ever find out who came up with it?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villa Lobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options.
I mean, if people are bitching about it, just remove the mural. It is wrong.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us.
So the middle class are not to blame. It's human nature.
Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next?
The
Or are we done?
unsolvable case.
AKA Leslie and Burke. AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable.
But I can do it, right?
Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
Can't we just keep them off the streets somehow?
You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH, had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Public indecency?
Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. You're drunk out of your mind on potent Pilsner. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face. Then you proceed to beat him unconscious with it. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore. Can't get out of his apartment. An invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows? But both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved.
So I just had to beat somebody up.
Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one? It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead.
Are we sure it's a bullet? It's a sequence killer.
Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day you may still catch the man with the square gun.
Is it really a square gun? Alright, the couch in an unexpected location, so that sounds like a prank.
Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it.
They actually looked like assholes.
Insufferable dicks. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it is. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, and drank coffee because they felt it's intellectual. Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved.
I ever catch him?
No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What next?
Murder at the hookah parlor.
Murder. Tum 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 at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor.
How?
Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor.
Okay, murder.
Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve. Was doing it solo. Said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister. Was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had.
Was he a good cop?
No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about. Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day. Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there, only client that day. In perfect health, too. Some kind of movie producer. No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing. Just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam, he's dead on the floor with his skull busted open, blood everywhere. What happened? How can it be?
Did he just, like, pass out on the table and just hit his head?
Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin. Movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Tables low, heavy, really sharp edge.
So he sucked on the hookah, stood up, passed out, his head, and died.
See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom.
What was he doing there for 6 hours? Was he just sucking the hookah?
Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, That was Murder at the Hookah Parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next, not much has changed in the arson, petty theft, spousal abuse, handwritten logs on dozens of investigations. You don't exactly close them so much as a distance.
Anything else I can interact?
The face of King Fleecell smiles at you. For some reason, the smile now strikes you as more forced than it did before. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture.
Ah, yeah.
Why they decided to title this one section Invalda is beyond you. It evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. That certainly sounds like a certain delinquent youth who likes to harass you from her balcony.
What's Tip Top Tourney?
The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
Alright, what do the communists say have to... They must not really like it, then.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
It's capitalism, right? Because it's capitalism.
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes.
Who wrote this?
Oddly enough, this article has two bylines: Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka. There's no way those are real names.
Why aren't they real?
Have you ever met anyone named Exilus? Come on, they're plainly pseudonyms.
Alright, what's so bad about sponsorships?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a Fritta.
Okay, right. And then you get to see them crash, which nobody wants to end up in the hospital.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
I like racing.
Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of brand names being engulfed in flames that you crave.
Guess I never really thought about it.
That's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry. The whole point of these sorts of articles is to let someone else read critically for you.
Kim, this article says nobody really watches Tip Top Tourneys for the races.
Oh, come on. Can this article read your mind?
It seems to think so.
A certain kind of young man reads one or two books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine.
All right.
The table of contents unfolds before you.
International development.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that.
All right, what's this? Do they wrestle bears?
It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara,
Wrestling
SRV,
bears?
devised and promoted by none other than President Kanajinsky himself.
But wrestling a bear. Is it actually wrestling a bear?
According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV.
Who's Uncle Sport?
Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent and democratically elected president.
I hear a touch of sarcasm in that.
Sapormat Sport Kanajinsky is well into his third decade as president of the SRV. Outside Samara, he's known for three things: brutal repression of internal dissent, monumental corruption, and a near pathological obsession with physical fitness.
Putin?
Son, it's only an obsession if it's unhealthy. And there's nothing healthier than maintaining a sound body. Also, you're forgetting about the moustache. Right, like all Samaran men above the age of 40, President Kanajinsky wears a truly spectacular walrus moustache.
Like me. Alright, so bear wrestling.
It's quite straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases, woman, against one bear.
Oh my gosh.
2 competitors, 1 ring, 5 rounds, or until incapacitation. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12% and 7% respectively.
I feel like those numbers are fudged.
This is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to sell you a bridge in La Chute.
Not sure if trust these numbers.
What are you, a statistician? Did the moral intern send you on a fact-finding mission? This is the SRV party line, comrade.
Hey, Kim, any chance our case will take us to the SRV?
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask?
Kinda wanna see a bear fight.
They're quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front rows wear plastic sheets. On account of the blood, you see.
I figured.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds.
Alright. It's time to go visit our friend. Quick save here, just in case, you know, I get in a fight with a ghost or something. It could happen. Seems like bodies are talking to me. Alright, let's talk to this dude. Alright, I need the appropriate clothing for this. Things that will make me... Okay, what is savoir-faire? Oh, yeah, we don't need that. We need composure. Suggestion, conceptualization. I look ridiculous. Half light. What's half light? Electrochemistry, half-light, drama. Ah. Okay, I think I look good. I think. Alright, no, glasses don't work. Alright, let's talk to this dude. Hey there, guy. How you do? Interesting.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
Hello there, sir.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds.
Yeah, I got your hint.
Beautiful. So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
That's what I'm aiming for, yeah.
Beautiful. I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
Sure. By the way, I'm really digging the view here.
Mm-hmm. That's why I chose this place. Martinez is special, isn't it?
Wait. Suddenly you're digging things?
Alright, let's go.
That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up, one by one. Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard, disappearing into the bush.
Besides, I've got to run.
He's going to leave you alone again. That's sad. Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again.
Where are you going?
To the city. It's a beautiful night.
Only if you promise we'll talk again.
Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
You're cute.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, alright?
Alright, save the skill point just in case. I'm probably gonna want to use it for the, I don't know. Oh, I still have to talk to him about that picture.
And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
There's something so different about him. I can't put my finger on it.
Different, of course.
There's something so mysterious about the way he talks and moves.
Something so mysterious about the way he talks.
Why are you laughing at me?
Very.
He's barely holding it together. It's all he can do to keep from bursting out in laughter.
Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview. His Sunday friend, remember?
Why would I? Okay. I am not dressing up in it. Just do we know each other? Hi there.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
You shouldn't be seeing him in an intimate setting. For some reason, you feel this man is your superior. Superior, but he's not in the command chain.
He's probably up on the social class?
His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who knows the importance of appearances.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur la Clé.
The coalition government?
I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
No, first ask an innocuous personal question to get the interview off on the right foot. Yes, make it clear you're the one setting the terms here.
Before I go on, I absolutely have to inquire about this wonderful canopy.
Oh yes, my friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this type of frame industrial. It's very comfy. That's really all I can tell you about it.
That didn't work at all.
Damn it!
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
Can you tell me about your friend?
Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him. But he understands the importance of education. He has taken his future into his own hands, and that's all that matters.
What's Kendra?
Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, their potential membership is a more contentious issue.
What do you mean?
That it's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since.
And what's this EPIS thing you keep talking about?
EPIS is a very special program developed by the Moral Intern to support certain Occidental nations. It began as a unified system of weights and measures, which proved to be a wild success. Nothing but kilograms and centimeters as far as the eye can see.
I like the metric system.
God, yes. Sweet standardization. The backbone of rationality and commerce.
I mean, as somebody who works in science, I love grams and meters.
It was such a wild success that we expanded it into an economic union for the processing of steel. Another success. And between you and me, the Moral Intern feels emboldened by this success. Emboldened to take EPIS to the next level.
Okay, but like, what does it stand for, dude?
Why, it stands for progress and stability, like the Moral Intern as a whole.
No, the letters.
It's been such a wild, extraordinary success thus far. We are very excited to take it to the next level.
Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
A supranational political alliance. The United States of Occident.
Is it going to be like this place here?
You mean Revachol? No, it's going to have transparent democracy.
Is it going to be part of Vershaw going to be part of it?
It's one day going to be a candidate member of EPIS, sure.
Didn't you say the candidate members never really become members?
No, candidate members do become members. Why do we even have the whole system in place if they don't? It just takes time. Time and evaluation.
Sounds like a fucking bureaucracy.
But we were talking about my friend here, not politics.
And how did you become friends?
How did any of us become friends?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isola. Oil platforms ablaze in the night. Civil wars lasting for years. Finally, the international community is forced to step in.
What?
Au contraire, it's how millions of people end up where they are. Meeting the people they meet. It's how I came here, and my friend too.
Who is he?
Sorry, who?
The smoker.
But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts.
What's his name?
Officer, you have to understand. I can't give you his personal information. I'm sure you have your own methods and databases, right? Please don't put me in this situation.
All right, so can you tell me about him? He's here to study arts?
He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes.
Which ones?
He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world is open wide for a talented youth like you.
And what are you doing in this? Are you sleeping with him?
I'm just enjoying the view.
It's dark.
Listen,
A baby is crying in the neighboring apartment.
There's a child.
no, listen. The Insulindian Bay.
What about it?
This place used to be a luxury accommodation before the revolution. Apartments, of course, were much bigger then. A few walls have been added here and there, leaving some of the tenants without a private bathroom or a kitchen. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away.
But your friend.
My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you'll see him around. He's a busy bee.
He's a spy.
I'm all ears, officer.
So what's a guy like you, an official like you, doing in a place like this?
The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight.
Okay, but what are you doing here in the apartment?
Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here.
So you're some kind of bureaucrat.
Yes, as I said before, I am a commissioner from Sur-la-Clé working for the Institute of Price Stabilité. This is one of the main projects of the Moral Inter.
Wait, there isn't actually an Institute of Price Stability, is there? Or maybe there is. God, it's impossible to understand whether someone from the Moral Intern is joking or not.
All right, what is this international community?
La Communauté Internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution.
And what is the price stabilité?
It is the most important thing.
That doesn't tell me anything.
It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment, which is essential for maintaining the social stability.
It's a circular. This is circular logic.
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't change.
Ah, okay.
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stabilité works to keep inflation just below 2%.
2% of what?
But not too far below. No. 2 below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%.
You're not answering my questions.
The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet?
Sure, I'll
A
take it.
sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être of the Moral Inter. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the Moral Intern's commitment to transparency.
Okay, I've heard about this moral intern before, but I want to know more.
It's the International Organization for Moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies, as is the coalition.
Are we the Marlins bitches?
Doing one's job doesn't automatically make one anyone's bitch. Besides, there are more nefarious powers to work for than the moral intern.
Are you a moralist?
But of course,
But why?
because moralists believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values.
Are you a moralist?
Me?
You've managed to catch the lieutenant off guard, but only for a moment. He quickly recomposes himself.
I'm a lieutenant of the RCM, dedicated to maintaining law and order in Ravachol.
A very moralist answer.
The lieutenant is practiced in the art of putting on a show for one's superiors.
Martinez doesn't seem normal or stable to me.
Martinez? No. Martinez is something else.
What about the rest of Revachol?
Revachol is generally difficult. It's led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved full democracy. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking.
It's like every time I'm talking to people, I'm choosing option D. None of the above. Is that moralism?
Is this option D usually the most reasonable answer?
Yeah. It's usually the most boring one.
Not boring, my friend. Responsible. Moralism is all about compromise and achieving the achievable. It's pragmatic, realistic, and level-headed. An ideology for doers. Are you a doer, my friend? Now, enough of this delightful political interlude. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Tell me about Sur La Chef.
What's there to say? Sur la Clé is a modern,
Sur La Clé. I
urbanized
cannot
company that measures
I
very
cannot
high on
make
Human
the
Development and
speech.
Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of EPIS.
I still don't know what this EPIS is. Now I'm talking French.
Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes.
What makes Revachol Sur La Clé's darling?
Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur la Clé. Its language, its people, its cuisine even. Or at least in the downtown La Delta area.
Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sur La Clé's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes.
Sounds very boring. Alright, talk about
Whatever
something
you
else.
wish, officer.
So you actually witnessed the lynching?
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
So start from the beginning if you don't mind.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one. That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Well done, detective.
Who are you? Who are they? Can you describe them?
I couldn't see their faces well, and there were quite a few of them. But they were very loud and very Martinez. Let's just say that the laboring classes can get rather expressive with their profanity.
How many of them were there?
I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10. Maybe 8?
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
Were any of them like huge, like 200 kilos huge?
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human, as far as I could tell.
I mean, 400 pounds.
I went back inside.
Were you able to see anything from inside?
Officer, the yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. They were threatening to kill that poor man.
Were there men, women,
All men, I presume. But again, I couldn't see very clearly.
ethnicity?
I believe they were mostly white, though I believe I saw 2 Areopagites among them. And I am quite certain that one spoke with a Mesk accent.
What happened next?
Well, that's the strangest part, officer. Nothing happened. It was oddly quiet for a public lynching.
They lynched the dude!
Eventually, their shouts died down, and that was all. There were no gunshots, no celebratory shouts, no anything.
You didn't call the RCM?
You're right, of course. That is what one is supposed to do in such circumstances. I was simply in shock. I'm afraid I don't have anything else to add.
About what time was all this happening, approximately?
All I can say is that it was late.
Didn't check your watch?
My watch. Yes, now I remember. It was 30 minutes past midnight, give or take.
So let me get this straight. You didn't actually witness the hanging itself, did you?
No, I didn't see the corpse until the following day.
Alright, thank you for your time.
Of course, anything I can do to assist the RCM. A moment, officer. Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave.
Why can't we talk later?
It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well.
That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in underprivileged young men's apartments in the middle of the night.
Alright, thanks for the heads up.
Of course. I'm glad I could help.
That was interesting. It's kind of weird how he like checked his watch after I mentioned it. Anything else here?
Give me a moment. Ask away.
She mumbles some.
Alright, what we got here? We got new clothes. Save that point for later. I'm gonna take one more look at the where is my I swear I can get it. And then, you know, and then he can take a look at that body and then like everything will be fine. Not take a look at the body, like bring the body back to the precinct. Alright, how do I get back there? Ugh. I always forget how to get back. Right, yeah, I have to go through the front. Oh, at least I'm very perceptive at this point.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarded. Your arms reach out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
What's this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent. They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in. You're not far. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
Abrasion collar.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem. Yes, that's what this part is called. You've seen the drawings. You've studied them. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Never wake. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him. Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper, until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just... The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
A bullet.
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact. Of course, you've earned it. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion collar. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
Agreed.
And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
he's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too. Small details. Everything is too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did, full-heartedly. Well, no more.
We almost fell for it, he thinks. Almost. There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
Maybe they just... No. Why would anyone do this?
To hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here?
Maybe the bullet holds more answers?
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
Who would do this?
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Maybe they shot him while they were hanged him?
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me.
What happens next?
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
What should I do?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
The word lingers in the air of the basement. Far away, ice cream makers are buzzing, and the sea wind blows outside. Detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks, and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
Alright, bag him.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You...
I'm gonna go to sleep now. Alright, can I...
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower. The squished little thing has no idea. I know. You should find the gun that shot this bullet. That sounds like something a police detective would do. First, you should learn all you can about this little guy. Then find the gun that shot it and the person that gun belongs to. The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound. Far away, Lieutenant Kitsuragi is flipping through stations in his kinema. He is not here examining the bullet with you. He should be. He would find this very intriguing. Mention it to him later when the squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
Alright, I'll keep this one. Alright. Time to go in the whirligig. Take a nap. Cook's not there.
Can I help you? You're already set for the night. Your door is unlocked.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. This fan has two, or has it been consigned there as pan? The bed is still cold.
I need to sleep.
The bed is still cold from the wind blowing in from the broken window. The mattress creaks as you close your eyes and try your hardest to fall asleep.